this time is really, really important and key, okay? I really want you to understand how to tap into spirit guide mastery, okay? Now, how I came upon this journey was just by happenstance, man. I just went and isolated myself in the forests and, went into nature, and I'd keep visiting nature. And a lot of the times I'd just isolate myself in my room, taking on these different experiments, these different internal world experiments, where I started to really study altered states of mind and go into different breath works or different yoga asanas and different things like this. And then I started to discover that there was a receptive and communicative quality that was coming from these different thought forms or these different beings, that they would sometimes show up during meditations, sometimes they'd show up during dreams. Other times it was just very clear and obvious that I'd get a synchronicity or a sign, right? So it started from that, right? First and foremost, it started from that understanding. So last night I was listening to Wallace D. Wattles, I think, Science of Getting Rich. It's a very old book, right? Very old book. And I was looking at it, and I took a few notes, and I think it's really interesting because it goes to show you what's really going on underneath the surface. So I loved this little sentence because it's reframing the idea that we have around wealth, right? We think money is a bad thing, money is the root of all evil, and all these different ideas. But look at the way that Wallace D. Wattles talks about this, okay? Morning, Zach. So the purpose of nature is the advancement and unfoldment of life, okay? To be content with less is sinful. Success is becoming who you want to be, and only if you make use of things and rich enough to buy them. Interesting. This is a different paradigm. I haven't really explored this abundance mentality yet, but I think it's very, very powerful, right? Key here. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get rich. Mind, body, and soul, none of these are holier than the other. We're all acquainted with the consequences of lacking either mind, body, or soul. Desire is possibility seeking expression, or function seeking performance. Woo! Wait, let me read that again. Desire is the possibility seeking expression, or function seeking performance. Unironically, Bible says to dream big so that the Lord might show you his glory. Wow. Amazing. Love is denied fullest expression by poverty. The man who has nothing to give cannot fill his place as a man, husband, or father. It is perfectly all right that you desire to be rich. Rich people, they get rich by doing things a certain way. That's where I stopped. I probably went off into a melodic sleep or whatever, into a trance-like state. Did some puja, just went off to sleep, boom. But then I woke up with all these ideas and downloads, and this morning I did a tantric empowerment from my father. He teaches Vajrayana Buddhism. But this was a transmission from the actual New Kadampa tradition. And so got this very powerful empowerment from this Lama, and it's connected to the Tsongkhapa tradition. If you don't know a little bit about Buddhism, that's very powerful because he's a Dharma protector, right? He protects anybody who's gonna mess with the practices or mess with the process. And I think that's important, A lot of the times when we go on these practices and processes, we get sidetracked, right? We get so much involved with all this information that we forget that this is all in the mind. This is all in the psyche. This is an internal process where you really come to your own self-realization. So it's very, very interesting how once we set the theme for our spiritual journey, everything within our selective attention, right? It pulls that into our reality. So when I did the session with Jason a few days ago, right? If you're an adept, you get access to that. It was very, very interesting, man, because he told me that it's just 3 things that you need to change this energy around, and I really firmly believe in that, okay? Because you need attention, you need intention, okay, which is kind of like your will in a sense, and you need, what was the third one, man? Hold on, I have it right here. What was the third one? Dang. And feeling, okay? So let me just say that I'm going to understand something clearly and feel its energy. So let me just say, I want to affect my throat chakra, for instance. First of all, I pay attention to my throat chakra. Then what I've got to do, I've got to feel through my heart chakra to my throat chakra. So feel into the actual energy center, right? And then finally, I have got to use my imagination with permission. I've got to use my imagination and visualization to either expand it open, release some blocks, right? And you can actually do that through your hands or placing, energy in your hands, but also you can do it by just placing your attention on it. So what if you had attention on all of your chakra points throughout the day, right? You just woke up and you turn them on like a battery, right? You're like, doom, 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 right? And then when you go to sleep, you power them down. Why do you power them down? Because then these other beings, they won't be able to mess with it, right? As you're sleeping, there might be other, creepy crawlies, spooky things going on, right? Around you trying to siphon the energy from your chakras. But if you turn them off consciously, right? Subconsciously, it's not going to be a problem. But if you keep them on, and if you're keeping them on all the time and keeping, it's going to create a loop, right? Pulling up the string, yeah. So it's really, really key and important that we start to understand this, right? Because the aspects of our own psyche are going to show up as these characters, okay? And I think it's really, really powerful when we can gain an understanding of this, not just from our own, human error, but really deep in a trance or deep within a meditation, you sometimes get a download that you don't know how to make sense of it. You know what I mean? You don't know how to make sense of it. So it's really going to be key and important for you to understand what even is going on within your physical and metaphysical world, okay? Because once you get it, you can't look at your reality the same way anymore. You get that? You can't. And that's the thing. Once you see your reality is metaphysical, once you see that you are a spirit in flesh, you're going to start to completely see this thing as different, It's not going to have the same buzz, the same energy. Okay? So, basically, you want to start to understand that your whole understanding of your life right now, you know that you have a specific protectiveness around your own space. What is that protectiveness? Is it your lineage? Is it your family history? Is it a feeling of safety within? Okay, start to pinpoint what are those areas that are wounds that are creating those openings, okay, for you. So your traumas will actually reveal a lot based on, let's say, totem animals that you work with or things like this. Why do these animals get drawn up in your psyche? They're there to protect you from something that you've been through, something traumatic. So they show up in these archetypes and symbols, right? They show up as a way to basically compartmentalize your mindset, right? And Austin is a funny character here because he keeps talking shit here, right? But also, it's interesting, man, because you're not going to impact anything that I do and say, That's the funny thing. You think by typing questions to me and like, pointing it out, you're gonna throw me off my vibe? Hell no, man. Heaven no. Okay? I have way too much experience, bro. Are you? Perhaps. Quite possibly you are. So, once we understand that we have a direct influence into our waking life, into our reality, it's gonna make us more prone to activate that power within us. We all have this power within us, but we aren't willing to activate it. You see, what if I told you that these ascended masters and all these guides, these beings, they were there for you, and they were always there for you, but you didn't ask for help? You were too afraid, or something was in the way, right? You just didn't ask for help. So how are you going to get the metaphysical assistance if you don't ask for help? Okay? So it's not going to work. Okay? Because you have set out that you're going to do it all on your own. You want to understand that there is an attention in your mind, and that attention is drifting. Someone is telling you, hey, try out this new diet. You go and try it, right? Immediately. Someone is saying, hey, try this new app out. I've been using it for a week. It's been bringing me good results. You try it out. Right? And all these impressions and some scars and opinions, all of them just start to stack, and you get drifted. You're going from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing. That's what happened at the start of my journey. I got scattered. But then what I started to do is I started to create overlaps. I started to notice the patterns, right? And once I started to notice the patterns, I started to really create that powerful chemistry, right? It's funny because Austin is still watching and consuming this content, right? He's trying to get to me. That's what a bully does, right? They try to get a reaction out of you. You see? So funny. He's probably a kid, right? He's probably a kid. So that's so funny to me. So it's really interesting, man, once you realize that there is such a power. See, he's 12. You see? What a joke, right? So, first of all, brother, you shouldn't even be watching this content if you're 12, so I'm going to kick you out. Read the disclaimer next time. Okay? Peace and prosperity. What's happening with the big live chat number fluctuation? Yeah, I have no idea. Man. A lot of these videos are going up, yeah? Bumping up the algorithm. So, let's just kick it, Let's just kick it together. Let's just talk. So, yeah, man. Shorts. Shorts, right? I don't know if it's shorts. I do have a short that blew up. It was like called Ultra Instinct in Real Life. A lot of people keep commenting on that one. But anyway, the more I've come into my own gratitude, bro, my life has changed, The moment I've stopped, I've taken things for granted. I've been like, feeding myself with a silver, like growing up with a silver spoon, you say, right? That's kind of my reality. But then I stopped going with that reality. What did I say? Hey, I don't have a silver spoon. I have a spoon of all different colors, right? You see, you have to change the paradigm with which you live. Once you change the paradigm, more is possible. More gets allowed. More is resonant in that reality, right? Permanent Cough, what a great name, man. That's funny. I once had a woman that I was coaching and training, and she got really triggered by the word forever. The word forever seemed to annoy her, or it just created maybe like a Disney idea of love, or the fact that love can last forever, and it wasn't realistic to her. You know what I mean? It wasn't realistic. So what was the reframe that we created for that, man? temporarily permanent. Isn't that amazing, right? It's the same word, forever, but saying temporarily permanent allows you to actually lean into that understanding of it, rather than just pushing it away, saying it's going to take forever. You guys get that? So just the power of our own language and the way that we speak will allow you to connect with a very specific frame of mind. And once you enter that frame of mind, and let's say you go to the astral or you go to sleep, you're going to enter that realm. You're going to enter that state of mind. You know what I mean? Hey, Riley, I know that, man. Thank you, though. Basically, and again, this physical incarnation is handsome because I manifested it to be so. You see what I'm saying? I created this guy to be that guy. Okay? Uncle Makara was an archetype that started to slowly form. You see? Hello, Paya, says Tamil Gamers. What up? So, let's start talking a little bit about this, man, because when I started first going on this journey, I was really, really inquisitive about, I wanted to learn everything about flow state. And I wanted to work with all of the flow state deities that I knew would help me with this journey and process. I was like, I'm gonna come back with the elixir of life, right? It was like that hero's journey in the beginning. But nowadays, I'm starting to see the refinement with this thing, because you can't work with everybody. Hey, not everybody is allowed in my universe, man. And there's a beauty to that. You guys get that? There's such a beauty to that. Not everybody is allowed to enter my universe. Now, I am gonna bring you all up with me. I am here to enlighten others with me, but there's also a discernment to understand that somebody just isn't ready for this yet, right? Or how I came out looking like Charles Manson / Jesus depictions. Bro, don't roast yourself like that, Zach. That's hilarious, though. Yeah, what state of mind were you in, that created that guy? Hey, I don't know, right? You know that answer. So we all understand that once we pick the guy, and then we have to become the guy, right? So if we're like, okay, I want to be like Bruce Wayne or something, right? Some guy wants to be like Batman. They do everything like Batman. They try to become a billionaire. That's their goal in life, right? They want to be Batman. Now, they could spend their entire life doing it, but they're not going to find that personal quality to it, right? They can say that, hey, I'm kind of afraid of dogs, and so I'll be Dogman instead, right? Instead of bats. They'll try to use the mechanisms that there are, but they're never going to actually be Batman, you see? So you got to find your own flavor, but get inspired by others. That's the thing. You can't just be like, I'm going to be exactly like them, okay? Now, if you're aspiring towards someone and they have a lot of great qualities, you can definitely take those understandings and merge with it, right? So let's say that I want to be like, who's a interesting character? Let's say that I want to be like Homelander from The Boys, right? I imagine that I have his cape on. I'm maybe putting on his face over my face like a mask. What else? Right? Maybe my eyes start to glow. What else, right? Doing that speech. All of that, right? So it's really interesting how, like, whenever I go on a live, right, it brings all the NPCs from all the world. What's my hair routine? Rosemary oil. What else? I don't know, man. Mountain ebony. I don't even think you guys know what that is. Okay? Look up those two things, argan oil, okay? But my hair naturally does this, okay? It's not like I prepped it like this. This is natural based on what? Subliminals, reprogramming my mind, creating my lifestyle in a very particular way, okay? Let it compress. It's oil, bro. Just put it in your hair. Monkeys, apes. Monkeys, apes, bro. Like mixing primate blood now with like some random stuff going on, man. They're not only monkeys, they're apes, right? They're not chimpanzees, they're chimpanzees, apes. They're the apes, chimpanzees. Okay? So, hey, let's understand something, man. Hey, hello from Kurdistan, awesome. Mana May is ending. Mana May was all about life force energy, okay? It's very, very interesting to understand that now we're morphing into June. And once we understand it, it's going to start to create a ripple effect, okay? It's going to start to create a powerful crescendo, okay? Hey, I'll actually help you with your tech support, bro. No cap. But it's metaphysical tech support, so it's your internal world. I can't fix a laptop or shit, okay? You gotta go to Karpal next door. That's my next door neighbor, bro. Not you, Doctor Strange. All right. All right. Cool, man. Whatever, guys. So, right before you go to sleep, you gotta understand what you're doing, bro. Okay? That's gonna impact your mind the most. What are you saying to yourself when you're drifting off? Okay? Are you like, I'm alone? Or like, what's gonna happen tomorrow? Are you falling asleep to that? Or are you like, man, I feel so worthy right now. I'm gonna meet with all my guides in the astral. Tomorrow is gonna be a sharper and stronger day. I'm already looking forward to it. There are gifts waiting for me around the corner. Okay? What are you telling yourself before you're sleeping? That's entering directly into your mind. Okay? So, I told you guys about this visualization that I did, right? But imagine this. Imagine all your spirit guides. Okay? Now, you might not know who they are and you might not even be familiar with this process, but just imagine, okay? Imagine you have like 7 spirit guides, okay? 7 chakras, 7 guides, okay? And imagine all of them, right? Like little cartoon characters, like animated show, and they're all just like playing in a park, all your spirit guides, right? In one scene, one movie scene in your mind. Maybe they're all chilling in a cafe. Maybe they're all in a boardroom meeting. Maybe this is the council that Napoleon Hill talks about. You get that, guys? There's a certain council in our mind of all of these different guides, and they manifest through these different archetypes or these different fractals, these God fractals, right? So, as you experience this, you'll start to get a very, very deep resemblance, right? A kind of this memory coming up again to remind you, hey, Kia ora, bro, Conrad, we're going to New Zealand, brother. Let's meet up. We're going in November for our event, for our spiritual retreat there, bro. Kia ora. Bro, we want to meet with the Maori people as well. Conrad, bro, join the Telegram group so we can link up. It'd be cool to meet up. Bearing burdens. I think we're gonna go to, what's that place called, man? Tapa. I think we're gonna go to Rotorua or maybe. Well, we're gonna start out in Auckland. We obviously we're gonna do to we're gonna show up to Auckland first at the airport, right? But then from there we'll be traveling around in like a van, hopefully, and just going around, you know, like a road trip type thing. But yeah, we're gonna hit up cool places, man, and be just cool to link up there. Cool, man. So, bearing burdens I endure as a gift for when I rest, just de facto every day now. Yeah, man, I mean, look at it as, listen, the more darkness that is sitting within you, it needs more love. You get what I mean? To actually balance that out. It needs more gratitude and more love. So if you can befriend that, you know, you had that ability to just persevere, right? Push through all of that stuff. But now it's about being like, yo, I accept that part of me, now I'm gonna use it, right? I'm gonna use it as this positive fuel to just allow myself to look forward to something, right? That's the consciousness of happiness, is when you're looking forward to something. When you tap into the flow state each and every day, it's the gateway towards your happiness, right? It's the gateway. So once you enter the gateway, you'll start feeling this awesome state with it, right? And there's no way you can get to happiness just like that, right? What is this? It's like a chili flake. I just had lunch a while back, man. It's such an Indian thing to do, just pull off like a chili, like a half-eaten chili out of your mouth. Straight up. All right, any questions, guys? Anything coming up? Basically, this journey has just reflected to me that the more times that I think about my guides, the more times I actually understand that they've been with me since I was a little kid, bro. You know? They've been with me since a really, really long time. Like, I think back to Chief Deno. Actually, let me show you guys this, bro. I still have my soft toys when I was a kid, like 10 years old, okay? I'm 30 years old now, but I still have it. Why? Either I'm gonna pass it on to my future generation, or it's gonna be something that I transmute later on, right? Or I donate it to someone. Again, it's gonna happen some way or somehow, right? But I've kept my memories alive there. I haven't let my childhood go. A lot of people, they let their childhood go, right? They forget about all the shows. They're like, this is whack, this is cringe. Yeah, I used to do that when I was a kid. Yeah, when I was a teenager, I used to do that thing. Not anymore, man. And they shame their past. And the more you shame your past, the more you get stuck there, right? It's like time traveling. You get stuck in the past, and now you're like, fuck, how do I come back to the now? You can't. Unfortunately, you have to go to the past, use it as a reference, and release that. Stop depressing it and start expressing it out. Because once it's out in the open, once you expose it to the light, like the Wicked Witch of the West, right? I'm melting. It'll slowly start to melt. But you gotta actually aim it at that, right? You gotta get rid of the resistances and the inner turmoils that are still there. And the more you can peer through that and understand you're here to do something very special, actually, right? You got called back here in this incarnation for a reason. There's gotta be a reason why you're here now. You get what I mean? There's gotta be. Everybody is here for a reason. There's a specific process here, okay? And once you start to remember, bro, what do you mean 911? I'm in India right now. How am I gonna call 911? You have someone else do it for you, bro. Why are you coming to my live asking to call the police? Like, that makes no sense to me. If there's really a danger, you should call it, bro. You know what I mean? Like, why are you on a live video saying that? But yeah, once you understand that you're sending that energy, right? Once you're sending that energy into the cosmos, right? You're broadcasting it, okay? Imagine you're giving your higher self or your inner child the greatest fist bump ever known, right? When you do it, everything happens for a reason. Sometimes it's because you're being stupid about things. That's true. It's true. Yes, I have Insta. Check it out in the description. Yeah, bro. So let's get tapped in, okay? So sometimes we've got to shock our thoughts out of our system, right? Heard of shock therapy, right? Suddenly something just throws you off, right? That is actually important for us to suddenly press the brakes and go, wait a second, am I doing something stupid, right? Is that gonna help me in any way? Is that really an effective thought that I just had, right? Because the male quality is the ability to be able to pinpoint and follow, right? Pinpoint and understand, follow, right? I just read that. Follow me back. Okay, I'm freaking famous, he says. Okay, good. So the male concept of logos, which is actually conscious for a man and then very unconscious for a woman, right? According to Jung's model of this, it's your ability to discriminate between two thoughts, to be like, that thought is useless and that thought is very, very useful, and it's gonna get me the results that I want. So you actually have to take an inventory of your thoughts and feelings throughout the day, right? So if you have thousands of negative thoughts and only like 2 positive little whisks of positive thoughts, bro, that's nothing, right? You need to drown yourself in positivity, okay? You need to blast yourself with that thing, right? Until it washes out and becomes neutral again. Because if it's overriding, if there's too much stimulus, you need no noise. You need to be in silence, actually. And to just contemplate and observe and watch what is happening. And actually, the clarity will come into your mind just like that, okay? It'll be very clear on your next steps. But if you try to overplan, overthink, go into the future, hey, overthinking is under feeling. You gotta feel through it sometimes in order to actually, overcome that. Now, let's look at the other quality of eros, right? The quality of eros, if we understand that, is the quality of being relating to others, being connected to others, right? It might be that energy of like, oh, my heart is open, or I need to build rapport with somebody else, or, it's that feeling of love that we have for somebody, okay? So that understanding is actually subconscious for men, or very, very conscious for women. Women are very good at being social. They can understand these things. Now, somebody might be brought up in a very suppressive household, or being taught not to socialize, or they haven't got a sisterhood, or that's different, right? You've been socialized in that way. But I'm talking about the natural quality of that. Now, if we suddenly get back to our natural qualities, right, logos and eros, right? If we just come back to that, we will actually create that dynamic. And if we forgive our mother and father, we forgive the animus and anima, therefore giving us that flow, that flux back, that freedom coming back to ourselves, so we can be authentic enough to actually lead this interaction with another individual, right? Because you understand that, hey, this woman is just a reflection of me somehow. It's a mirror in my world. Like, I'm interacting with her, sure, but I'm actually talking to all women. I'm talking to the anima, right? So once you get that, it's the same thing with how I've been able to understand that each deity, right? Oftentimes they come with a shadow side, or a consort, or something like this, right? Like a feminine version of that same deity, right? And so we've got to take all of these into consideration, especially something called the 4 minds, right? You know how back in the day in psychology, they used to have like phlegmatic, caloric, like, right? Caloric, sanguine, right? Sanguine was the happy one. I do know that. There's the calm one, right? But then they had like melancholic, right? Really sad and solemn. They had these different states, right? And they used to think like putting leeches or like black bile or something would help people, right? And that was a different understanding, right? That was a different state technology. But now, over time, our state technology changed. We now have the Ayurvedic system of Kapha, Pitta, Vata, whatever, right? We have that, and then we have other maps available to us. So we have to be able to figure out a real swift way, right? A swift way towards what we're truly preferring. So we have that aim, that laser sharp focus, instead of what? Going here and then going there and then going somewhere else and then trying to, fine tune it and dodge this other thing and then, okay? They always take what doesn't belong to them from others. They always, so much shitty shit against people. Who are you talking about, Kian? Pleroma, because their positions on power. Power is, well, again, where are they seeking their power? They think the power is an external thing, okay? They don't understand that there's something called an inner power. Yeah, man, and people buy into false promises. That's the thing, right? You hope enough, just have faith, or whatever. So, just have hope, Yeah, man. Hey, but don't focus on them, though. You know what I mean? There are crooked people out there. There's evil people out there. Hey, fuck them, Let them burn in their own hell, okay? But also, if they have this glimmer of hope, if they have an awakening, if they have a truth body, if they have an understanding that, wait a second, I can't live like this anymore. I need to change something around, right? I need to do something very different. Now they're thinking. Now they're actually questioning their reality, right? When you start questioning your reality, you get told to shut up, right? You get told to suppress it. But once you start to really embrace what's actually going on and you see through the mirage, you see through the BS, you start to live much more differently. You start to live free. You live more open, you know? And of course we can get into our own heads about things and, you know, get distracted and all that stuff. That happens, right? It happens to all of us. But we cannot let that become our normative way of doing things. We've got to allow our higher selves to come through, okay? And actually guide this thing towards somewhere that is going to be powerful, right? Whether you're Abrahamic or Dharmic or Hindu, whatever, right? It's all going towards that enlightenment, all going towards that understanding that the power is within, and don't separate yourself from that, right? The system is getting more and more corrupt. Exactly, because it's a system, right? It's a mechanism that is created, and false systems and substructures start to fall away now, and that's what we're seeing. That's what we're noticing is happening, right? So we got to create our own internal systems, and this is what I help people with, to understand that you have your own spiritual process, and you can actually activate and actualize that to the best of your ability, man. You know? You know? Yeah, man, there's like fake certifications, all sorts of stuff, you know? Shady stuff going on. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Think about this, okay? Next month, we're going to think of a different theme. So I want you guys to brainstorm words with J for June, okay? What can we call this thing? What's going to be the main focus for us so we can bring our minds to a higher level, okay? So we can bring our minds to a different level, okay? I'm an omnist and I speak 4 languages. So let's tap in, guys. I hope you're having an incredible day. May the flow be with you, and stay legendary. You got this, we got this. Upward Spiral gang, may we never be the same again. I'll see you in the astral world, bro. Us. Peace out, guys.